In mid-1972, my mother made sure I would be the first girl at Har Shalom to have a bat mitzvah on Saturday when we read Torah. The shul, not wanting to weigh down a girl with the demanding task of laning a full kriya, assigned me a mincha service in April 1973. I was also told that it would be too hard for a girl to learn to read Torah and give a speech, so they dropped the Dvar Torah requirement. It became apparent to me many years later that the real reason I didn't have to give a Dvar Torah was that my male teachers probably couldn't agree on which one of them had to talk to a 13-year-old girl, read about and find meaning in the biblical impurity of childbirth, menstruation, leprosy, or bodily emissions. So I never droshed on Metzora. Very early last year, I made a commitment to Rachel Rubin Green, who coordinates the library minyan droshes, that I would give the drosh for Tazria Metzora in 2020. But alas, COVID, and our world turned upside down. We're not yet back in the sanctuary or library minyan for davening and droshing, but a few months ago, with a spark from Rabbi Schatz, I worked with Rachel Rubin Green and Zvi Resnick to launch Short Vort, a project designed to encourage congregants to share wisdom on the weekly parsha in 2 to 3 minute videos. I signed up for April 17th. I couldn't decide what to focus on. There's a lot to get indignant about. Why is a mother tameh impure for 7 days after giving birth to a boy, but 14 days after giving birth to a girl? Or what is really meant by tameh, impure, and tahor, pure? Nothing resonated this time around. But I had a thought that I'm sure others have had or will derive from the parsha this year. If we consider the various conditions described in the parsha, and then the role of the priest and the detailed prescribed rituals and the use of separation, you see an effort, certainly we know in the face of ignorance, but clearly fear as well, to do something. And looking at it from this perspective, it seems brilliant to me to use physical separation, time, and cleansing of both body and garments to promote healing and to protect the rest of the family and the community. At the start of the pandemic, it wasn't clear where the virus came from or how it spread. In the face of many unknowns, but a growing understanding of the danger, we shut everything down. We stayed home, we wore masks and wiped down packages, door handles, and constantly wash our hands, even though we didn't know if the virus survived on surfaces or was passed by touching. Without knowing everything about the virus, we did what we had to do to protect ourselves and others. We separated. Maybe this year, what we need to learn from Metzora is that when things happen, whether cyclical or once in a lifetime, that might put our health, community, or frankly our world at risk, we do what our modern priests advise, our doctors, experts, and scientists. We separate ourselves and wear masks to keep ourselves and our families and our neighbors safe. And we take a vaccine that has a prescribed dose, that has to be spaced a set number of days between the 2 shots, because each vaccine depends upon a certain number of days for the antibodies to build up. And then we still keep our distance and wear masks while we wait for everyone else to get their vaccines and wait for the appropriate time for their antibodies to build up. So if we follow the prescribed steps and stay separated and masked for the right amount of time, maybe, I hope, we'll be together in the sanctuary for Rosh Hashanah. Shabbat Shalom.